Commander June stared at the large screen before him. The blue dots that showed their defense posts were going out one by one. Each lost dot meant hundreds of dead soldiers. His thin gray fingers tightened around the edge of the command table. "Sir, we've lost contact with Outpost 7, said Taiho, his second in command. June nodded, his large eyes blinking slowly. The Seoler people were known across the galaxy for their calm thinking and smart plans. But now, watching their defenses fall, even June felt fear creeping into his mind. "How many ships did they bring this time?" June asked. "More than before. At least 200 war vessels," Taiho replied. His crystal-like eyes dimmed with worry. The outer shield didn't even slow them down. June turned away from the screen. The war room of Coalition Base Alpha was filled with officers from different planets. Some had scales, others had tentacles, and a few even floated above the ground. 17 different kinds of beings had joined the Galactic Coalition. For 200 years, they had lived in peace. Until the Voidborn came. The Voidborn were not interested in peace. They wanted to rule everything they found. Their black ships moved through space like hungry wolves. Where they went, only death followed. "Call the council," June ordered. "They need to know how bad things are." 3 hours later, June stood at the back of the Great Council chamber. Leaders from all 17 coalition worlds filled the room. Some sat in chairs, others stood in pools of special gas, and a few hung from the ceiling. Each being needed different things to live, and the coalition had built this room to fit them all. Prime Minister Dojin of the Araxians was speaking. His red scales shone under the bright lights. The Araxians were known for their hard skin that could stop most weapons. "We cannot win this war," Dojin said, his deep voice echoing in the chamber. "The Voidborn are too strong. We should talk to them, try to make peace." "Peace?" shouted Queen Lena of the Nebulan cluster. Her blue-green skin glowed with anger. "The Voidborn don't want peace. They killed everyone on my colony world, even the children." The room erupted with shouts. Some agreed with Dojun, wanting to surrender. Others sided with Queen Lena, ready to fight until the end. June watched silently. As a military commander, he couldn't speak in the council unless asked. But he knew the truth. They were losing badly. The coalition forces were smart and had good technology, but the Voidborn were just too many and too fierce. Supreme Chancellor Maru, the oldest being in the room, raised his forearms for quiet. "Please, friends, fighting among ourselves won't help. We need ideas, not anger." Silence fell over the room. Then a single figure stood up from the far end of the chamber. June recognized him immediately. Ambassador Han from Earth. Humans were the newest members of the coalition, joining only 20 years ago. They were strange creatures. 2 arms, 2 legs, soft skin, and no special powers. Many coalition members thought humans were weak and only good for trade. "The Terran Union offers its military help," Han said simply. A few laughs echoed through the chamber. Prime Minister Dojin didn't even try to hide his smile. "Ambassador Han," Dojin said, trying to sound polite, "we thank Earth for its offer, but this is a real war. The Voidborn have natural armor that can stop most weapons. They can see in the dark. They can live in space without suits for short times." Dojin pointed at Han. "Your people are fragile. You have no armor, no claws, no special senses. What could humans possibly do that our best warriors cannot?" June expected the human to get angry. Instead, Han smiled. "You're right about our bodies," Han said. "We're not the strongest or fastest. We can't breathe underwater or see in the dark. But there's something you should know about humans." He paused. "We've been fighting wars against ourselves for thousands of years." The room grew quiet. "While your people were learning to live in peace, my people were finding new ways to kill each other." Han continued, his voice steady. "It's not something we're proud of, but it means we know war in ways you don't." Chancellor Maru leaned forward. "Are you saying humans are more violent than the Voidborn?" "No," Han replied. "I'm saying we understand violence better, and how to stop it. Prime Minister Dojin slammed his scaled fist on the table. This is silly. What can soft-skinned humans teach us about fighting? Ambassador Han didn't seem upset by the insult. Let us show you. The Earth fleet can be here in 7 days. Give us one chance to prove what humans can do. June studied the human with interest. There was something in Han's eyes that caught his attention. Not anger or fear, but a quiet confidence. Chancellor Maru whispered with the other council leaders. Finally he spoke. Very well, Ambassador. We will accept Earth's help. But know this, we have already lost 30 worlds to the Voidborn. If your forces fail, many more will die. Han bowed slightly. We understand the risk. Thank you for your trust. As the council ended, June found himself walking beside Ambassador Han in the great hallway outside. Ambassador, June said, I must ask. Your people are indeed physically weaker than most species in the coalition. What makes you think humans can succeed where we have failed? Han stopped walking and turned to June. Commander, do you know why tigers have stripes? June blinked in confusion. I don't understand the question. Tigers, large predator animals, from Earth, have stripes to hide in tall grass, Han explained. They evolved that way because they weren't the strongest animals. They needed to be sneaky. Han stepped closer. Humans are like that. We weren't the strongest creatures on our planet. We couldn't run the fastest or see the best. So we became smart. We made tools. We set traps. We learned to work together in ways other animals couldn't. The human's eyes seemed to grow more intense. When you're not the strongest, you learn to be the smartest. When you can't win with force, you find another way. That's humanity's greatest strength. We adapt. June considered this. The Voidborn have never faced humans before. Exactly, Han said with a smile. They don't know what's coming. For the first time in months, June felt something he had almost forgotten. Hope. 7 days later, the first human ships arrived. June stood at the viewing deck, watching as the vessels moved into formation around Coalition Base Alpha. They were smaller than he expected and less impressive than Coalition ships. Are these really warships? Taiho asked beside him. They look so simple. June remembered Ambassador Han's words about tigers and their stripes. Perhaps that's the point, he said quietly. A message came through his communicator. The human commander had arrived and was requesting a meeting. The time had come to see if humans could really save them all. June had his doubts. But he was ready to be surprised. What no one in the coalition could know was just how surprising humans would turn out to be. Commander June waited in the landing bay as the human ship docked. The sleek metal door slid open with a soft hiss. A group of humans walked out, dressed in simple gray uniforms. The first human to step forward was a woman. She was shorter than Ambassador Han but stood with a straight back. Her hair was cut very short and her eyes moved quickly, taking in everything around her. General Sunwoo of Earth's Defense Force, she said, extending her hand toward June. June had studied human customs. He reached out and clasped her hand briefly, the way humans greeted each other. Commander June of the Coalition Forces, he replied. Welcome to Base Alpha. General Sunwoo nodded. My team is ready to begin work immediately. We've studied your battles with the Voidborn. We have much to discuss. June noticed the other coalition officers watching the humans with doubt in their eyes. He understood why. The humans looked so ordinary. Their skin was soft. They had no claws or armor. Next to the tall Araxians with their red scales or the floating Nebulon with their glowing skin, humans seemed plain and weak. We have prepared a briefing room, June said. This way, please. 2 hours later, June sat in stunned silence. General Sunwoo had just finished explaining the human battle plan against the Voidborn. It went against everything the coalition forces had been taught about warfare. You want to attack in small groups? Asked Commander Taiho, his crystal eyes flashing with disbelief. The Voidborn will crush you. Large formations are easy targets, replied Sunwoo calmly. Small, fast teams can hit and run before the enemy can respond. An Araxian officer named Cole laughed loudly. Your ships aren't even properly armored. One hit from a void-borne laser will cut them in half. We don't plan to get hit, said a human officer named Daewon. His face showed no anger at the insult. June studied the tactical displays. The human plan was strange. Instead of meeting the void-borne head-on with large battleships, they wanted to use many small ships. Some would distract the enemy. Others would attack from behind. It was not how the coalition fought wars. Your tactics are unusual, June said carefully. General Sunwoo's mouth formed a small smile. That's the point, Commander. The Voidborn have learned how your forces fight. They know what to expect. But they've never fought humans before. June considered this. The coalition had lost many battles. Perhaps it was time to try something new. I will speak with Coalition Command about your plan. As the meeting ended, many officers still looked doubtful. June heard their whispers as they left the room. These humans will get themselves killed. What can these soft creatures know about real war? They have no natural defenses. It's suicide. June felt uncertain. Could these humans really help them? Or was this just a waste of precious time? The next day, Coalition Command agreed to let the humans demonstrate their skills. A training exercise was arranged. The human soldiers would test themselves against the Coalition's best fighters. The training arena was a large open space designed to simulate different environments. Today it was set up as a forest battlefield, with tall structures like trees and rough ground. June stood on the viewing platform with other senior officers. Below, 20 Araxian soldiers took position. They were the Coalition's strongest fighters, with natural armor and powerful muscles. Their leader, Commander Cole, looked confident. On the other side, 20 human soldiers prepared. They wore suits of armor that covered their bodies. The armor looked clunky compared to the smooth scales of the Araxians. This will be quick, muttered an officer next to June. Those humans don't stand a chance. The exercise was simple. Capture the other team's flag. Weapons were set to training mode. They would mark a hit, but not cause real harm. A loud tone signaled the start. The Araxians moved forward in perfect formation, their heavy footsteps echoing. The humans did something strange. They split up. Some moved left, others right. A few stayed back. Poor discipline, commented the officer beside June. They're not staying together. Commander Cole led his Araxians straight through the center. Their strategy was clear. Use strength and numbers to push through and take the flag. Then something unexpected happened. Small devices thrown by the humans landed near the Araxians. Smoke burst out, filling the area. The Araxians stopped, confused. From different directions, humans attacked. They moved quickly, hitting and moving away before the Araxians could respond. They didn't try to match the Araxian strength. Instead, they used speed and surprise. 3 humans worked together to target one Araxian. While the Araxian focused on one human, the others would attack from behind. One by one, Araxians were marked as hit and had to leave the field. Commander. Call roared in frustration. Form up! Stand together! But his voice was lost in the confusion. In just 10 minutes, it was over. The humans had captured the Araxian flag. Only 2 humans were marked as hit. 15 Araxians, including Commander Cole, had been eliminated. Silence fell over the viewing platform. The Coalition officers stared in disbelief. June turned to find General Sunwoo standing beside him. Your soldiers fought well, he said. They fought smart, Sunwoo corrected. Physical strength isn't everything in battle. Strategy, teamwork, and adaptability matter more. Later that evening, June walked into the officers' dining hall. He found General Sunwoo sitting alone, studying a data pad. May I join you? He asked. She nodded, and he sat across from her. Your demonstration today was impressive, June said, but the Voidborn are not Araxians. They are more dangerous, more brutal. I know, Sunwoo replied. We've studied every report of your battles with them. We know what we're facing. June hesitated. then asked the question that had been bothering him. Why are you helping us? Earth is far from the conflict. You could stay safe. Sunwoo put down her data pad. When we joined the coalition, we made a promise to stand with our allies. Humans keep their promises. She paused. Besides, the Voidborn won't stop with your worlds. Eventually, they would reach Earth. Do you really think you can defeat them? June asked. I think we can help you defeat them, she answered. But we need to work together. And you need to be willing to try new ways of fighting. From across the room, June could hear Commander Cole talking loudly with other Araxians. Lucky. Those humans were just lucky today. In a real battle, they would die quickly. General Sunwoo heard it too. She didn't seem angry. Instead, she smiled. Let them think that. Underestimation is a powerful advantage. June was starting to understand. The humans didn't care about looking strong. They cared about winning. Tomorrow, Sunwoo said, we'll run a different kind of exercise. Something that will show what humans can really do. For the first time since the war began, June felt a spark of real hope. These strange, soft-skinned humans were not what he expected. They were something else entirely, and perhaps that was exactly what the coalition needed. Morning came to Base Alpha. Commander June arrived early at the command center to find General Sunwoo already there. She stood before a large map display, studying it closely. You're up early, June said. Humans need less sleep than Seolers. Sunwoo replied without looking away from the map. I've been planning today's exercise. Word had spread quickly about the humans' victory over the Araxians. Many officers were now curious about what these soft-skinned beings could do. Others remained doubtful, calling it a lucky win. What kind of exercise do you have in mind? June asked. Sunwoo turned to face him. Something different. I want to show you how humans fight when the odds are against them. She pointed to a section of the map. This area. It's a complex of buildings used for urban training, yes? June nodded. Training Zone 12, we use it to practice city fighting. Perfect, Sunwoo said. Here's what I propose. 50 of your best soldiers from different species will defend a command. Post there. 10 of my humans will try to capture it. June stared at her. 10 against 50? That's not a fair test. Sunwoo's face showed a small smile. War is rarely fair, Commander, and humans specialize in unfair fights. By midday, the exercise was ready. Training Zone 12 had been set up to look like a small city with buildings, streets, and underground tunnels. In the center stood a large structure marked as the command post. Inside was placed a simple blue flag. 50 coalition soldiers took their positions to defend it. There were strong Araxians, quick Nebulans, and even a few Seolers with their mental abilities. Commander Cole led the defense team, eager to prove yesterday's defeat was just bad luck. On the viewing platform, many coalition officers gathered to watch. Most believed the humans would fail badly against such odds. This is foolish, said an Araxian officer. 5-to-1 odds? The humans are setting themselves up for humiliation. June watched silently. He wasn't sure what to expect anymore. The 10 human soldiers gathered at the edge of the training zone. They wore dark armor that seemed less advanced than coalition battlesuits. General Sunwoo gave them last instructions, then stepped back. Loud tones signaled the start of the exercise. The humans didn't rush forward as expected. Instead, they seemed to vanish, slipping into shadows and behind structures. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. Where are they? Someone asked. Have they given up already? Commander Cole's voice came through the communication system. No sign of human activity. All defense teams stay alert. More time passed. The coalition defenders began to look bored. Some started talking among themselves. Others sat down at their posts. Suddenly, the lights throughout Training Zone 12 went out. Backup systems failed to activate. What's happening? June asked, turning to Sunwoo. The first rule of human warfare, she replied calmly. Control the environment. Communications from the defense team became confused. My scanner isn't working. I can't see anything. Communication is breaking up. Then small explosions of colored smoke erupted throughout the zone. Not harmful, but very confusing. The smoke blocked vision and filled the air with strange smells. Through the smoke, dark shapes moved quickly. The humans had split into even smaller teams, maybe just 2 or 3 soldiers each. They didn't engage in direct fights. Instead, they struck quickly and disappeared again. One by one, coalition soldiers were marked as hit by training weapons. Some never even saw who hit them. On the viewing platform, officers watched in growing surprise. This wasn't a normal battle. It was something else entirely. Commander Cole's angry voice cut through the confusion. "Form up, protect the command post. They're using tricks because they're weak." 20 minutes after it began, the exercise ended. The smoke cleared. The lights came back on. 10 human soldiers stood in the command post, the blue flag in their hands. Around them, 45 coalition soldiers had been marked as hit. Only 5 defenders remained active, including a very angry Commander Cole. Silence fell over the viewing platform. The coalition officers couldn't believe what they had seen. General Sun Wu turned to face them. "This is how humans fight. We don't try to match our enemies in strength or numbers. We change the rules. We use every advantage we can find." Later, in the main briefing room, coalition commanders gathered to discuss what they had witnessed. The mood had changed. There was less mockery now, more thoughtful questions. "How did you disable our systems?" asked a Nebulon officer. "Our technology is advanced," a human tech specialist named Ji Wu answered. "Every system has weaknesses. We found yours and exploited them." "But you didn't fight fairly," Commander Cole said, still angry about his defeat. "There is no fair in war," General Sun Wu replied. "There is only winning and losing. The Voidborn don't fight fair. Why should we?" Commander June stepped forward. "What General Sun Wu says makes sense. We've been fighting the Voidborn according to traditional battle rules, but they don't care about rules." He pointed to the tactical display showing recent Voidborn attacks. "We need to stop thinking like defenders and start thinking like humans." The room grew quiet. For many, this was a new and uncomfortable idea. Their species had followed the same military traditions for centuries. A senior Araxian general spoke up. "These tactics might work in small exercises, but against the full might of the Voidborn fleet?" I remained doubtful. "Then let us prove it," General Sun Wu said. "Give us a real mission. Let a human team lead a strike against a Voidborn target, the Eye." Coalition commanders looked at each other. This was a big step. If the humans failed, valuable ships and lives would be lost. Finally, Admiral Bayek, the head of coalition forces, spoke. "Very well. We recently lost Outpost Kappa 9 to the Voidborn. It was a small station but in a strategic location. If you can recapture it, you will have proven your worth." General Sun Wu nodded. "We accept the mission. We'll need a mixed team, humans and coalition soldiers working together." "I volunteer to join the human force," Commander June said. Surprising. Even himself. Admiral Bayek considered this. "Granted. Commander June will serve as coalition liaison. You have 3 days to prepare. The mission launches after that." As the meeting ended, Commander Cole approached June. "You're making a mistake," he said quietly. "These humans will get you killed with their strange tactics." "Maybe," June replied. "Or maybe they'll show us a new way to win this war." Later, June found General Sun Wu in the ship bay, inspecting the vessels they would use for the mission. "Why did you volunteer?" she asked without looking up from her work. "I want to see how humans fight a real battle," June answered honestly. "Not just exercises." Sun Wu nodded. "You'll see. But I must warn you, it won't be like any battle you've experienced before." "That," said June, "is exactly what I'm counting on. For the first time in this war, the coalition was about to try something truly new. The question was, would the Voidborn be ready for it? 3 days passed quickly. Commander June spent every hour with the human soldiers learning their ways of fighting. What he saw both confused and impressed him. The humans didn't spend all their time on battle drills like coalition forces. Instead, they did many different things to prepare. Some studied maps and information about Outpost Kappa 9. Others checked and rechecked their weapons and tools. A few practiced moving silently through mock-ups of the outpost's halls. Most strange to June was how the humans treated each other. There was clear respect for leaders like General Sunwoo, but everyone's ideas were heard. Even the lowest-ranked soldier could suggest a plan. On the final night before the mission, June found the humans gathered in their quarters. They weren't reviewing battle plans. They were sharing food and telling stories. Some showed pictures of their families. Others played music from Earth. A human soldier named Minho noticed June watching from the doorway. "Commander, join us," Minho called out. June hesitated, then stepped inside. The room fell quiet for a moment. "We're having a pre-mission gathering," Minho explained, offering June a seat. "It's a human tradition." "Shouldn't you be preparing for battle?" June asked. General Sunwoo, who sat nearby, shook her head. "This is preparation, Commander. We fight better when we remember what we're fighting for." Minho showed June a small picture of two young humans. "My children," he said with pride. "They're waiting for me back on Earth." June was surprised. "You have young ones? Yet you volunteer for dangerous missions?" "Because I have children, I volunteer," Minho replied. "If we don't stop the Voidborn here, they'll eventually reach Earth. I fight here so my children won't have to fight there." June began to understand these humans better. They weren't fearless. They were afraid for their homes, their families, their future. But they used that fear to make themselves stronger. Morning came. 3 ships prepared to leave Base Alpha, 2 human vessels and 1 coalition ship. The mission team included 20 human soldiers and 10 coalition members from different species. Commander June would travel on the main human ship with General Sunwoo. As they boarded, Admiral Beck addressed them one last time. "Your mission is to recapture Outpost Kappa 9. Our information shows that the Voidborn have stationed about 100 soldiers there. You are outnumbered 3 to 1. He looked directly at General Sunwoo. "Are you certain your small force can succeed?" "Numbers don't determine victory, Admiral," she replied. "Strategy does." The ships departed Base Alpha, moving quickly into deep space. The journey to Outpost Kappa 9 would take 6 hours. During that time, June observed the humans making final preparations. A female human soldier named Jihye checked her medical supplies. She would serve as the team's doctor. "Aren't you afraid?" June asked her. "The Voidborn are known for their cruelty." Jihye continued her work without stopping. "Of course I'm afraid. Only fools feel no fear." She looked up at him. "But fear is useful. It keeps you sharp. It reminds you to be careful." This was different from what coalition soldiers were taught. They were trained to ignore fear, to push it away. Humans seemed to accept fear as a natural part of battle. General Sunwoo called everyone together for a final briefing. The plan she outlined was unlike anything June had seen before. "We won't attack directly," she explained, pointing to a map of the outpost. "Instead, we'll divide into 5 teams, each with a specific task. Team 1 would create a diversion at the main entrance. Team 2 would hack into the outpost systems. Team 3 would enter through a maintenance tunnel. Teams 4 and 5 would secure key areas once inside. The Voidborn expect us to attack in force," Sunwoo continued. "They won't expect small teams coming from multiple directions." A coalition officer raised a concern. "But if we split up, we lose our strength in numbers." "We never had strength in numbers," Sunwoo replied. "We're already outnumbered. Our advantage is surprise and flexibility." 6 hours later, the 3 ships approached Outpost Kappa 9. It was a small station built into an asteroid, with docking bays and sensor arrays extending outward. Black Voidborn ships patrolled nearby. "They've seen us," reported the pilot. 3 enemy ships are moving to intercept." June felt a moment of doubt. The Voidborn ships were larger and more heavily armed than their small vessels. General Sunwoo didn't seem worried. "Begin Phase 1, she ordered calmly. The 2 human ships suddenly split apart, flying in opposite directions. The coalition ship stayed on its original course. This confused the Voidborn vessels, which hesitated, unsure which ship to chase. "They expect us to stay together," Sunwoo explained to June. When we don't follow the expected pattern, it causes delay while they decide what to do. The human ships fired special devices toward the outpost, not weapons but small objects that attach to the station's outer hull. Signal jammers and system disruptors, explained a human tech specialist. They'll interfere with the outpost's communications and sensors. The Voidborn ships recovered from their confusion and moved to attack. But the human vessels were quick and nimble, dodging enemy fire while moving closer to the outpost. Now, ordered Sunwoo. Execute Phase 2. Small pods launched from the human ships, heading for different parts of the outpost. Each pod contained a team of soldiers. They were too small for the Voidborn's main weapons to target effectively. Meanwhile, the coalition ship engaged the enemy, vessels drawing their attention away from the pods. June found himself in a pod with General Sunwoo and 4 human soldiers. Their pod was aimed at a small maintenance hatch on the far side of the outpost. Pods were your idea? June asked as they rushed toward their target. Sunwoo nodded. Voidborn defenses are designed to stop ships, not small insertion vehicles. We use their expectations against them. Their pod attached to the outpost's hull, with a metallic clang. A human soldier quickly cut through the outer door using a special tool. Within minutes, they were inside the station. The hallways were dark, lit only by emergency lights. The human disruptors had worked, shutting down. Main power systems. Stay close, Sunwoo whispered. Team 2 should have disabled internal sensors by now. Teams 4 and 5 are entering through other access points. They moved silently through the corridors, avoiding main pathways. When they encountered Voidborn soldiers, they didn't engage in direct fighting. Instead, they used stun devices or quick silent takedowns. June was amazed by how differently the humans fought. They didn't try to overpower the enemy. They avoided fights when possible and struck only when they had clear advantage. An hour into the mission, they reached the central control room. There they found Teams 3 and 4 already securing the area. Several Voidborn lay unconscious on the floor. Status report, Sunwoo demanded. Main systems under our control, reported a human tech specialist. Team 5 has secured the power core. Team 1 has the Voidborn distracted at the main entrance. Casualties? Sunwoo asked. 2 humans injured, none critical. 1 coalition soldier with minor wounds. June could hardly believe it. They had taken control of most of the outpost with minimal losses. The Voidborn, despite their greater numbers, were confused and divided. This isn't over, Sunwoo warned. The Voidborn commander and his elite guards are still in the command center. That will be the hardest fight. She turned to June. Ready for the final phase, Commander? June checked his weapon. Lead the way, General. I'm starting to enjoy human-style warfare. The first real test against the Voidborn was nearly complete, but the hardest part still lay ahead. The path to the command center was heavily guarded. Voidborn soldiers stood at every corner, their black armor making them look like walking shadows. Their yellow eyes glowed in the dim emergency lighting. General Sunwoo gathered her team behind a storage area to plan the final attack. The Voidborn commander is in there with at least 20 elite guards, she said, showing a small map on her device. They know we're coming. Commander June studied the layout. Direct attack would be suicide. Even with all our teams together, we don't have the numbers. Sunwoo nodded. Which is why we won't attack directly. She turned to a human tech specialist. Jiwoo, what's the status of the outpost systems? We control most of them now, Jiwoo replied. Life support, door controls, internal communications, but the command center has independent backups. And the package I asked for? Jiwoo handed her a small metal device. Ready as requested. Sunwoo looked at each person in the team. Here's the plan. We're going to use the Voidborn's greatest strength against them. Their strength? Asked a coalition soldier. You mean their natural armor? No, Sunwoo replied. Their pride. Inside the command center, Voidborn Commander Razak stood tall and angry. His forces had lost control of most of the outpost to a much smaller enemy force. This was unacceptable. How many attackers? He demanded of his lieutenant. Unclear, sir. Our sensors are compromised. Based on reports from our soldiers, perhaps 30 or 40. Impossible, Razak slammed his fist on a console. We have over 100 warriors here. How could so few cause so much damage? A communication alert sounded. Someone was trying to contact the command center. Put it through, Razak ordered. Human face appeared on the screen. A female with short dark hair and steady eyes. Voidborn commander, she said. I am General Sunwoo of Earth. Razak had never seen a human before. This creature looked weak and soft. Human, I've heard your species recently joined the coalition. You should have stayed out of this war. We prefer to stand with our allies. Sunwoo replied calmly. I'm contacting you to offer terms of surrender. Laughter erupted from the Voidborn soldiers. Razak silenced them with a gesture. Surrender? You think the Voidborn would surrender to a handful of soft-skinned creatures? Not your surrender, Sunwoo clarified. Your acceptance of ours. This confused Razak. You wish to surrender to me? A small number of us against your elite forces? It seems the sensible choice, Sunwoo said. We will lay down our weapons if you guarantee safe passage for my people. Razak was suspicious. This didn't make sense. The attackers had been winning. Why surrender now? You've caused much damage, he said. Why should I accept your surrender instead of killing you all? Because a good commander values information, Sunwoo replied. I can tell you how we took control of most of your outpost with such a small force. This knowledge would be valuable to the Voidborn in future battles against humans. Razak considered this. It was true. Such information would be useful. The human tactics had proven surprisingly effective. Very well, he decided. Come to the command center with your senior officers, unarmed. We will discuss your surrender. The screen went dark. Razak turned to his lieutenant. Double the guards. If they try anything, kill them all. They accepted, Sunwoo said to her team. Exactly as expected. Commander June looked concerned. This is very dangerous. The Voidborn are not known for keeping their word. We're counting on that, Sunwoo replied. She handed the small metal device to Jiwoo. While we're in there talking, your team will place this where we discussed. Jiwoo nodded and left with 3 other soldiers. Sunwoo turned to June and 2 other officers. Ready to surrender? She asked with a small smile. I still don't understand your plan, June admitted. The Voidborn believe they are superior to all other species, Sunwoo explained. Their pride makes them predictable. They want to hear how we beat them, so they can prevent it from happening again. And we're going to tell them? Asked one of the officers. We're going to show them, Sunwoo replied. 20 minutes later, Sunwoo, June, and 2 officers stood outside the command center doors. As ordered, they carried no visible weapons. Open the doors, came Razak's voice over the speaker. Enter. Slowly, the doors slid open. Inside, 20 Voidborn elite guards stood with weapons aimed at them. Commander Razak sat in a large chair at the center, watching them with glowing yellow eyes. The famous humans, Razak said as they entered. You don't look impressive. We get that a lot, Sunwoo replied calmly. Razak studied them carefully. Now explain how your small force managed to take most of my outpost. It's simple, Sunwoo said. We used your expectations against you. You expected a direct attack with large ships. You expected us to stay together in large groups. You expected us to target obvious entry points. And you did none of these things, Razak concluded. Correct. Humans have learned that the expected approach is usually the least effective. Razak leaned forward. And why surrender now when you were succeeding? Sunwoo smiled. Because entering this room was the real objective all along. Confusion showed on Razak's face. Then anger. Guards, kill them. But before the guards could fire, every light in the command center suddenly turned red. A human voice came over all. Speakers, attention. Outpost self-destruct sequence activated 2 minutes to detonation. Panic erupted among the Voidborn. Razak shouted for his tech officers to stop the countdown, but the computers were locked. What have you done? He demanded of Sunwoo. We haven't activated any self-destruct, she replied calmly. That's just what we wanted you to think. At that moment, all the screens in the command center changed to show the same image. Views of void-born soldiers throughout the outpost running in panic, abandoning their posts, rushing to escape pods. Your soldiers believe the outpost is about to explode, Sun Wu explained. Fear is a powerful weapon, Commander. Even the mighty void-born feel it. Razak realized the truth too late. This is a trick. Yes, Sun Wu agreed, and a very effective one. The command center doors slid open. Human and coalition soldiers rushed in, weapons ready. The void-born guards, distracted by the false alarm, were quickly overwhelmed. In less than 2 minutes, the command center was secured. Commander Razak stood with his hands raised, surrounded by human soldiers. You used deception, he growled. This is not honorable warfare. This is human warfare, Sun Wu corrected. We use what works. 3 days later, Commander Jun stood with General Sun Wu on the main viewing deck of Base Alpha. Admiral Bayek and other high-ranking coalition officers were there too, watching as the recaptured outpost came into view. The mission was a complete success, Jun reported. Outpost Kappa 9 is fully operational again. 87 void-born prisoners taken, including Commander Razak. Total coalition casualties, 4 wounded, none killed. Admiral Bayek looked impressed. In all our battles with the void-born, we've never had such a favorable outcome. This is just the beginning, General Sun Wu said. With your permission, we'd like to start training coalition forces in human tactics. Granted, Beck replied immediately. I want every coalition soldier to learn these methods. As the meeting ended, Jun walked with Sun Wu along the corridor. The void-born will adapt, he said. They won't fall for the same tricks twice. Of course not, Sun Wu agreed. That's why we'll keep changing our approach. Adaptation is humanity's greatest strength. Jun stopped walking and turned to face her. I need to ask you something, General. When you first arrived, many of us mocked humans. We thought you were weak. Yet you never seemed angry or insulted. Why? Sun Wu smiled. Throughout our history, humans have often been underestimated. We've learned to use that to our advantage. She paused. Being thought weak can be useful when you're actually strong. Jun nodded slowly. I understand now, and I must thank you. What humans have brought to the coalition is more valuable than ships or weapons. What's that? Sun Wu asked. A new way of thinking, Jun replied. You've taught us that true strength isn't about natural armor or special abilities. It's about adapting, finding new solutions, and never giving up. Over the next few weeks, human officers began training coalition forces across all bases. At first, many soldiers resisted the new methods. They found human tactics strange or even dishonorable. But as reports came in of more victories against the Voidborn, opinions changed quickly. Commander Cole, once the biggest critic of humans, now led joint training exercises with human instructors. The humans fight smart, not just strong, he told his Araxian troops. We must learn to do the same. 6 months after the humans joined the war, the Voidborn's advance had not only been stopped, it had been pushed back. For the first time, the coalition was winning, and it all began when they stopped mocking the weak human army and started learning from it instead. The end.